Okay guys, welcome to another video. In today's video, I've just spent the last hour and a half digging for no good reason other than to test gear. Personally, for me, that's kind of the best way to test gear is to actually go out and use it, maybe abuse it a little bit and see how much it can handle. And then that way, when you need to rely on it, you know that you can trust it. So I've been testing different eTools for the past couple weeks now, and so this necessarily isn't a long-term review, but I've probably logged at least a few hours on each of these tools. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but keep in mind eTools for the civilian are going to be used rarely, generally speaking. The application of an eTool in kind of a civilian sense is something to keep in a vehicle in case you bog down in snow, get stuck in snow. Something you could keep on a four-wheeler or a snowmobile or some other mode of conveyance. Some of these, one in particular, is what I term the best backpacking shovel or eTool, for its lightweight and its durability and its compact size. Some people, and I'm one of those people, when I go out camping, I bring a shovel. Every single time I bring a shovel, I find a use for it. So that doesn't necessarily mean that I need it, but it's a nice to have item, especially around camp. So the one that I've been using for the past few years and I just bring with me every time I go camping is the to-go system Little Joe utility shovel. Not really marketed as an entrenching tool, more of a camp utility shovel, but it's a robust little beast, to say the least. There are some drawbacks behind it, and that's part of the reason why I bought a few more to test. The other eTool that I keep in my vehicle, or at least I used to until today, we'll get back to it, but is the Austrian eTool, dated 1965. A 3-pound tool. I'm going to do an individual review just on this shovel because it is modified, but a tough little shovel, again with a few drawbacks. The other new one that I bought and I've been testing a lot, and again, I like it, but it has drawbacks, and it's going to be my new vehicle carry eTool, is the CRKT Trencher. It's a beast of a tool. It's robust, it's heavy, but for vehicle carry, that doesn't matter, at least to me. So what should you look for in an eTool? Well, the first thing I would say is consider one that's been adopted by a military, because those are legit eTools, generally speaking. There's a lot of Chinese crap out there on Amazon, those shovels where you put all these aluminum extensions and twist them together. So I would stay away from those. Those are really complex, hard to put together, lots of points of failure, so I would avoid those. Limited moving parts, meaning, like I just talked about with those collapsible and all the threads that are going to get full of dirt, and just you want to reduce as many moving parts, points of failure as I call them. Now, at this point, many people are going to be writing in the comments, yeah, that's why I carry the Cold Steel Special Forces shovel or some other small fixed shovel. Now, I agree those are tougher, you could say, because they have zero moving parts. The reason I don't like them is the main application many people will, in a civilian context, will use an eTool for is when you get bogged down in the snow, especially out. This happened to me last winter. I was kind of out in a, let's just say pretty far from civilization, and I didn't make the smartest choices, and I got bogged down up the differential in kind of wet heavy snow. And what allowed me to get unstuck really quickly was the ability to fold the eTool. And I don't know if you've ever tried to use a standard shovel to remove material from under the vehicle, but it can be done, it's just not super effective. With this, you can swing it under and drag it back. So in confined areas, you can pull a lot of that snow away. And having an eTool with me allowed me to reach all the way from one side to the differential and pull tons of snow back very quickly. Because you're not scooping it, you're dragging it, you can move a lot of material quick. And then I went to the other side, dragged it, and it took kind of long, but a lot less swear words and a lot less hassle than if I would have had a standard shovel. So that's why I personally like folding eTools with the ability to lock in the 90-degree position. The other thing I look for, a bold blade. If you can see, it might be hard to picture, the blade on this is flat this way and flat this way. What that means is for a spade to dig with, they tend to be flat for penetration. But because the shovel head is so small, smallest of all of them, and it's flat, it holds like a handful of dirt with each scoop. What I like personally is a bold blade, preferably both ways, but at least this way. It holds a lot more material. It seems like a small point to make, but when you start digging, you realize that, especially when you're comparing them head to head. That's why I really like this one, because it bowls this way and it bowls this way. So I didn't run any scientific tests, but I would say for each scoop you can hold about 3 or 4 times as much material as that other shovel I just showed, meaning you can remove material a lot quicker. The other thing I look for, preferably, is not a perfectly flat blade or a flat handled blade. I think I talked about blade lift, and when this point is on the ground, the shovel handle is elevated. That allows you to get some leverage to lift or break up material. The downside of the trencher is it almost has negative, to me it feels like the blade is pointing downwards a little bit. So when you're deep in a hole, you can't lift like that much, and it only has the 2 positions. The other thing, and this isn't a requirement, but it's a really nice to have feature when it comes to actually digging, is that position. I call that the 135, because this allows you to clean out and scoop out the bottom of a hole with loose material. And you can see as I'm demonstrating the combination of that angle and that bowl, you can tell Glock really engineered this through real use, through real digging. What handle material is preferable? Well, many people would say steel or aluminum, metal. And I would agree. I mean, metal is tough, metal is rugged, depending on the grade. This shovel has an aluminum handle, and because it's meant to be lightweight, the gauge of that aluminum is kind of thin. So what I noticed is when I'm prying against stuff, I would get a lot of flexing of the blade. In cold weather, metal in contact with your hand, even if you're wearing gloves, makes your hands really cold. Now, the CRKT trencher has a steel handle, a very thick walled 1 1/4 inch diameter, outer diameter, and the walls meaning the thickness of the handle, the thickness of the wall of the pipe is 0.08, I believe. So I think that's around 2 millimeters. So it's some thick stuff, but it comes with a caveat. It's a heavy shovel. But you'll notice what they did with this is they have these plastic panels, so when actually digging, your hand isn't really in contact with metal. Very smart. So that way you're getting the benefit of a steel handle without the drawback of conduction. So this is that Austrian shovel, and I replaced the handle because the original one broke, but this is a wooden handle. It's an oak handle, dowel, 1.25 inches, I believe, and then I wrapped it with athletic tape. So for actually digging and grip, this thing is awesome, and it's kind of warm to the touch when you're using it in cold weather. So the Glock has the Glock Polymer Wonder. This is the same material that Glock frames are made out of. It's going to be nice in cold weather. Depending on what you're doing, it won't conduct electricity along with wood. In case you're using this like in an urban setting, maybe you're doing some yard work and you didn't know an electric line was buried or something. Don't ask me how I know, but now this polymer along with wood is a good it doesn't conduct electricity, so it's kind of a safety. The polymer is really lightweight. Now, it's not the most durable material, but keep in mind, this Glock pistol I've used Pride with, and we're going to buy a second. It's a really tough shovel, ounce for ounce, but I wouldn't say it's as reassuring for durability as a steel handle. And it depends on your application. If this is going to be out in the weather, the advantage of this is it won't absorb material, you won't get splinters, it won't rot, it won't crack. So the other thing I look for or prefer is length. The longer the handle, the more leverage, the more control, and the easier it is to dig deeper holes because you have to bend down less. I want a shovel between 24 and 30 inches long. It's hard to find eTools or folding shovels smaller or longer than 30 inches. But the other thing to keep in mind is anything over 30 inches, you're apparently not limited by space that much. You're probably going to be carrying a vehicle. So if you want a folding eTool that has like a 4-foot handle, just go with a full-size non-folding shovel. I view eTools in two regards. Either on-body carry, such as backpacking or hiking, or vehicle-mounted carry, which could be in your truck, horseback, four-wheeler, snowmobile, etc. So you need to decide that first. Do you want something compact that you can backpack with, or do you want something a little heavier and more robust in construction that can handle more abuse but might be a little heavier? Okay guys, so hopefully you liked that series of videos. I'm going to make a playlist, and in the future I will review more eTools because I find them interesting and fun to use and fun to test. What I'm also going to do in the future is do a video talking about the philosophy or the why behind you would carry an entrenching tool, because especially for backpacking, that's kind of a big weight expenditure. So many people don't do it because they don't see the need for it or the philosophy or the usage behind it. So I'm going to do a video on that, and I think a lot of people will find that interesting. Now, like always, you can go back to my homepage, watch some of my current videos. If you like what you see,